Thanks for joining us on the program, everyone. We are counting down to November 8th governorship election in Anambra, with a fresh voter register now standing at way over 2 million. I think it's 2.8 million. This election promises high stakes and high drama. From the ruling APGA's governor Soludo seeking a second term to the APC rallying behind the fresh face, the political temperature is rising in the state, and we're joined by policy analyst and party insider Chibuke Uloka, who supported Professor Obiora Okonkwo in the APC primary. Though Prof didn't get the ticket, Mr. Uloka joins us now to discuss party strategy, internal tensions, and what really is at risk. Thank you for joining us on Beyond the Headlines. You supported Professor Okonkwo in the APC primary, but the ticket went elsewhere. Let's begin with where you stand right now. Do you now fully rally behind your party's candidate ahead of this election?
Thank you, Nifemi. Well, I'm a party man. I am still a member of the APC as at the last count. I have not announced that I have become the party. Neither the Professor Obiora Okonkwo, whom I supported, and we all rallied behind, hoping that he will get the ticket of the party. We are still a full bona fide members of the APC. And if you extend it further, look at the recent publication by the APC on the National Campaign Council, you could actually see that the name of Professor Obiora Okonkwo is actually in that list. So, which shows that he's a party man. And every other thing, I think, is not something that we have to go out there and say in the media. But for us, we are in the APC, and hopefully, as party men, we will hopefully hope for root for our party to win.
You are an APC member the last time you checked, right? But in the past, you've emphasized that APC must field a candidate that can win, and not just anyone with a title. What specific strategy do you think your party's flag bearer must now bring to play if he's going to win this election?
Okay. There are a lot of good sides of it. Take, for instance, the good work of the president, of the Federation President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, which he has been doing. We can see the infrastructural mark that is living in the country. We can see the reforms, the policies that are yielding results and fruitful engagements. I think these are the low-hanging fruits for my party's candidates to actually run into Anambra and campaign. Looking at what is happening in Anambra State today, I think Anambra is a sorry state, which has not actually met the dreams and visions of the founding fathers. Wherever they are in their graves, talking about the likes of M.I. Baradem, the Chubo Kadibos, the Nnamdi Azikiwes, wherever they are in their graves, they will be rolling in their graves, thinking what has happened to Anambra State. Anambra is in a serious tragedy. I would like to define it that way. It's in a serious tragedy that needs an urgent rescue. And I hope that the candidate of my party will be able to understand these situations and discuss issues. There are a whole lot of challenges bedeviling Anambra State that we should look at. So, if the candidate of my party stick to issues, look at all of those things, the achievements of Bola Ahmed Tinubu in turning around the economy, putting up some policies which, for a start, has some ripple effects, but on the long run, if we have to look at it, it means a lot of great things for the country. So if we can hope on all of those things and preach to the Anambra, the dream and the glory is going to return to the state, I think he has a chance. And I think this should be the strategy.
But what's the reality behind that? I mean, how realistic is chance? Because the same president you talked about, we've seen some kind of camaraderie between him and the current governor. INEC recently added over 140,000 new voters, bringing the total register to around 2.8 million. How does this shift affect your party's ground game? And do you think these new voters are a potential gain for the APC or for rivals? Basically, I'm saying it's not going to be very easy winning against an incumbent, and not even an incumbent who considers himself a progressive and a friend of Mr. President.
Yeah, I like the actual fact that you talked about the camaraderie between the governor and the president. You can take it away that President Tinubu is a Democrat who understands how to build a nation, who understands who, from the inception, he has always talked about, government of national unity. So being in good terms with the governor of a state is actually the way to go. But that does not in any way say that he will leave his party. He's a Democrat. He's a party man. He's someone that his track record is very known, who has always been loyal and supportive of his party. So he has also received the candidates, and I'm sure he will give all his support to the party. So without exception of whatever that is going on between him and the governor, which we expect and we are happy about. But the governor appears not to have utilized most of those relationships for the benefit and goodness of Anambra State. So if anything has to happen, the candidate of my party needs to hop in and, try to distort whatever that is going on between the current governor and the president to be able to get the support and assurance of the party at the national level. Talking about
yes.
INEC registration, I would not say for now who the voters would decide. I will not preempt the voters when the election is just about 2 months away. But what I'll put it the fact that there are a whole lot of awareness in Anambra State. There are a lot of people who have said things that are happening in Anambra State, and they felt that in the past, take for instance in the 2021 governorship election, where we had a total about 200 and some thousand voters. And this actually is not a good thing for a state that has over 2.8 million registered voters. So the voter apathy has been loud in recent time. And with their addiction, we are expecting that we should be able to close the gap. We've had situations in the past where more than 500,000 electorates trooped to the polls to vote for their governors and other elective positions. But recently, we are seeing a very sharp and dangerous decline, which doesn't actually mean well for our democracy. So we can have a situation where a paltry 200,000 or lesser are making a decision for a state with a population of about 8 million people or thereabout. So maybe the addiction is about people, the awareness for us to increase our voting strength, kill those voter apathy that obviously seems to be taking root in the state. So for me, I think that's where I'll benchmark it and hope for the best. The electorates are free to get to the poll and decide who they're going to vote for and whose manifesto, actually, appeals to them more. But unfortunately, I've waited to see the manifesto of my party's candidate, which I think I've waited endlessly for. I wanted to actually see in print what are the promises are for Anambra. What are the low-hanging fruits that you're going to hit the ground running with on the first day if you are elected. But I'm quite disappointed I've not seen this. And even from the side of the government, which is an incumbent, we understand that it is not an easy task to defeat an incumbency. But when it is the people that forms the government, it is the people that decides who should lead them. Indeed. If the people wakes up tomorrow and say that no, regardless being an incumbent party or whatever it is that you've not actually lived up to expectations, it is the choice of the people at the end of the day.
It's interesting though that if you as a party member and a party stakeholder hasn't seen your party's candidate's manifesto, I'm wondering how many people in Anambra who are expected to vote for him have seen that details. But I just want us to wrap it up on this note, because we just have about 2 more minutes. Given the outcome of the primaries, the internal debates that preceded the outcome, how united indeed would you say the APC rank and file are now? Are there still lingering divisions that could hamper his campaign in the coming days?
Well, for all we know, the party is one at the national level, and that also should trickle down to the state. We are all members of the APC. We've never said we are not members of the APC. And I would definitely cast my vote for my party, and I think it shows that the unity in the party is not something to be discussed about. But if there are other issues probably you want to reel out, maybe you should ask those questions. I'll be able to explain to it.
We don't have as much time now, but you mentioned that your preferred candidate is part of the campaign organization. How active has he been? Has he hit the ground running? Is he lending his structure to support your party's candidate?
Like I said earlier, he's a committed member of the APC. He hasn't left the party. So, come on. If he's a member of the party and he did not decline his name being on the national campaign, so it means something good.
Well, it's one thing for his name to be there. It's another thing whether he has boots on ground to actually run the campaign.
Well, that's definitely for him to speak for himself at the end of the day. But for me, if I have to say that, I think him being there and not being able to decline. Remember, he's an entrepreneur who also is trying. He's part of the team that is trying to make sure that the economic policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yield a lot of fruit. So beyond the Anambra election, he's been hitting the ground running on a whole lot of phases, parts. He's been hitting the ground running on a whole lot of strata, trying to see that the economic gains that Tinubu is trying to yield to Nigeria, makes a good effect.
Good place to leave it, Mr. Oloka. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll continue this conversation subsequently as we count down to the big one in November.
Thank you so much, Nifemi.